Good morning and happy Easter. We are going to film a episode of Southern Dash of This and That. And no, I'm not going to be wearing my mask the whole time. As everybody knows, we're in the middle of this pandemic and coronavirus, and people have been so creative. My sister actually made this mask for me. And if you look at it really closely, it has little bunnies for Easter. So my sister made several of them because my daughter is also an essential worker. She works at Publix, and so we all wanted to make sure that we all take serious. And when the Easter bunny is over, she actually made it where it's reversible. But we hope that we don't have to wear these too much longer. But we are glad that everybody is staying home and staying safe. And my husband was able to get us some toilet paper. As you know, this is a hot commodity, but that's not what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to come back here shortly and we're going to walk through a lemon cake with a lemon glaze recipe for Easter. As you can see in the background, I have the ham already done. And of course, it's severe weather, and you know I love baking and cooking during severe weather. Trying actually to get it all in before the power goes out. So stay tuned and we'll be back. Hello. One of the things I wanted to share with you this morning was something that happened to me that kind of prolonged me getting back in the kitchen just a bit, was the fact that something as simple as a little glass jar of ingredients that we use landed on my stovetop, and it actually fractured and I had to get a brand new stove. So what I did is I moved all of my spices and things into this cabinet now. So I just wanted to give you a little tip that if you have a ceramic top stove, you may want to move yours also, because a bottle of spices less than $2 cost me almost $900. So anyway, just wanted to let you know as I'm measuring out my ingredients. We'll be back and I will get the lemon cake underway. Okay, we are going to go ahead and I've got to smell those lemons. They always smell wonderful when I am slicing them. I've got to get 3/4 cup of lemon juice for our recipe. And of course I'm going to go through all of the ingredients and the amounts, but just wanted to show you how much nicer it makes a recipe when you are using fresh ingredients like fresh lemon. I am still getting all that fresh lemon juice out, and of course some of the seeds are going in there as well, but I will strain all those out. Oh, the kitchen smells so nice and clean. That was another thing I was going to share, that we have been so extremely busy because before this pandemic we are in the process of putting our house on the market. So we have been extremely busy in this house getting it ready to downsize, and we actually hit the market with it on the same day that we live here in Alabama that they did the statewide lockdown. So my house is very clean, so I thought, well, I'm going to get back to doing a little baking and cooking with Southern Dash of This and That. Welcome back. I am going to be working on doing my lemon zest now. Yes, I have been studying my recipe because this is one that calls for all these wonderful fresh ingredients. So I'm going to get a 1/3 cup of fresh lemon zest, and we'll be back in just a minute to go ahead and start putting together all of our wonderful things. Stop, I know what you're saying. Ooh, the smell of lemons is wonderful in here. Can you smell that back there, Jeff?
I can smell it, yep.
We're getting our 1/3 cup of fresh lemon zest done. And we're getting ready to really start putting all of our ingredients together. I've got my mixer over there ready, and I've got to sift all my flour. So really enjoying the process this morning as we're getting ready to have a lot of stormy weather here. Okay, we're going to now, using our mixer with a paddle attachment, we're going to put in our 2 sticks of unsalted butter. And then we're going to do our 2 cups of sugar, because what we're going to do is cream our butter and sugar together. So let me go ahead and put the attachment down here. Work it in a little bit, and then I'm going to put this other one in. The next thing we're going to do is add our 4 eggs. And then we're going to make sure all of this incorporates really well. And I finished up doing all of the lemon zest. That's going to be our next ingredient. And it was 1/3 cup. When I was doing this, Jeff was like, "You're really going to put that in there?" Sometimes you don't need your husband in the kitchen seeing all your secret ingredients because he gets a little frightened. If anybody knows my husband, Jeff, he's a very picky eater, so I have to kind of hide things in the ingredients and say, yes, yes, whatever. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to sift together 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to be putting a little bit in my sifter at a time. We have a 1/2 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda that we're going to put in there. And another ingredient that sometimes people don't really have in their cabinet, but it calls for, is the kosher salt. And it is a teaspoon of kosher salt that we're going to be doing. So I will be layering this. We're sifting it, putting it in there. Kind of heavy. I may have to add a little bit more here in just a minute. But as you can see, I'm going to use my hand sifter. We're going to sift all the flour, and then we'll be incorporating it a little bit at a time with a buttermilk mixture that I'm going to make in a second. You know, it seems so strange. I know a lot of you probably feel the same way on Easter, that you're not with your family. But, you know, we all need to just be very thankful and blessed that we have our health and that we're doing everything we can to protect people around us. You know, my mother is 80 years old, and we are just really doing everything we can to make sure she doesn't get exposed to this coronavirus. So one of the reasons I'm doing the video here is she loves to see us cooking and baking, and I learned all of my recipes and things from her. So it's just a lot of fun. I have some cousins that also love to watch me bake and cook, and I wanted to do a shout out to Kay Witt, because she does my recipes and she gives me feedback all the time on them. So happy Easter to Kay Witt and my Aunt Margaret and Maren and Carol and Dana and all the rest of you. Happy Easter. Okay, now we're going to separately, I've already got all of my flour and baking powder and the kosher salt sifted, and now I'm going to do 3/4 cup of buttermilk at room temperature. I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I have 1/4. Remember earlier I did 3/4 cup of lemon juice, so make sure that you only do 1/4 of this lemon juice. You're reserving the other because that's going to do the icing here in just a few minutes. So we're going to stir this up really, really good. And then we're going to be incorporating all of this into the mixer, alternating this mixture with the flour mixture. Now I'm actually going to be putting my flour mixture into the cream, butter, and sugar. We're going to alternate a little bit with the buttermilk and lemon juice and that vanilla. Do a little bit at a time. And we're going to keep on doing this until we get it all into that bowl. And then our next step will be putting it into 2 greased and floured loaf pans. So I'll keep on getting this done. It always amazes me when I see a mixture of things being done by our electronic mixers and things. I absolutely value my KitchenAid, because when I was growing up, you know, we didn't really have mixers and things. So that's how I learned a whole lot, because I was in the kitchen with my mother a lot. And she would let me be one of the people that did the stirring. And it's real important not to use a metal spoon. You don't want anything to be activating. I always try to just use the wooden spoon with all my ingredients here. And then you can be able to, that paddle, that's why you use that paddle attachment, because it is really good about doing the sides of the bowl and everything. So I just now noticed that I have 1 little lemon seed. I was very good about straining a minute ago. So I used a slotted spoon actually, because you can't believe how many seeds gets in that lemon juice. So that's the worst thing. You bake a beautiful cake and you don't want anybody getting a lemon seed. So anyway, we're just about there, and we're going to do our loaf pans next. Okay. Since, like I said, I have been downsizing I only have my one loaf pan, and it calls for 2 loaf pans, so I'm going to be doing 2 different ones here. It's not your traditional cake. It's actually going to be lemon loaf. So you want to put half of this batter in a loaf pan that's been greased and floured. And I've got a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and I will be baking that, and we will put it in the oven and bake it for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, we have got our wonderful lemon loaf. I call it lemon cake, but it's lemon cake loaf. That's in the oven right now baking, and as you can see, the stove is just like on full tilt. We're getting our Easter lunch finished up here. Yes, I'm sure you want to know what my menu is. It is honey baked brown sugar and pineapple crushed. Jeff always does this every tradition for our Christmas holidays and Easter, and I've already got it finished. I'm making corn casserole, you know, with the heavy whipping cream and butter. I know none of this is on the diet, okay, but shh. And homemade baked beans. And then we have mashed potatoes. I was going to do scallop potatoes, but I wanted to do the filming of our lemon loaf. So anyway, neither here nor there. I'm back to let you know what we're going to do is our icing, which is a ½ cup of sugar. And then it's the remaining ½ cup of lemon juice. So we're going to actually put this on the stove here in just a minute. I'm going to stir the ingredients together, and then we will be combining that in a few minutes with the convection sugar to make a nice glaze to go over our lemon loaf. And yes, my cameraman is distracted because our dog Dawson decided to make a debut over there. So if you hear anything in the corner, it's him. So we'll be back. We have just turned out our lemon cake loaf. And then I went ahead and done the other one in a little bundt pan because I've packed so much of my things away already. So now I'm going to put that really wonderful fresh lemon syrup. You want to drizzle that over your loaf. And you want to put this on a baking rack, so that it can cool completely. But also so that when you put this syrup over your wonderful lemon cake loaf and bundt, that it will kind of just go to the bottom, make a better cleanup. And we will slice this after we have our Easter Sunday lunch. And I just want to wish everybody a safe day during this stormy day, and please stay home and stay strong. We're going to go ahead and put us a piece of this on the plate. I just wanted to show you how wonderful and tender that cake baked. So we're going to enjoy that right after our Easter.